Big international news coming in. The situation not looking good for India-Canada relationship. It's a massive allegation, a charge on India by Canada's Prime Minister Justin Trudeau. Trudeau is accusing India, shockingly, of killing the Khalistani leader, Khalistani terrorist Nijjar. India, as Trudeau says, India is behind the killing of Nijjar at Saraid. This is, remember, claims made by the government, by the Prime Minister himself after being snubbed at the G20. This is what Canadian Prime Minister is up to now. Canada, and we are being told now, is going to snap the trade ties with India over Nijjar killing. Over a Khalistani extremist, Canada is willing to snap trade ties with India. Shocking. Let's go across to our managing editor, Gaurav Sawant, for the latest on this. But first, listen into what Justin Trudeau has said.
Over the past number of weeks, Canadian security agencies have been actively pursuing credible allegations of a potential link between agents of the government of India and the killing of a Canadian citizen, Hardeep Singh Nijjar.
I want to now bring in Gaurav Sawant on the latest on that. Gaurav, simply because he's not been able to take action first against Khalistani extremists, if that wasn't worse enough, now he's willing to even snap ties with India and claim that India has killed Nijjar. How do you think the government is going to respond to this, and how do you look at Canada's behaviour here?
So this is a very, very serious allegation that's been levelled by the Prime Minister of Canada, where he says that the Canadian citizen Hardeep Singh Nijjar, who incidentally was shot dead outside of Gurdwara on the 18th of June. Now, according to the British Prime Minister, he claims that the Royal Canadian Mounted Police, their investigations reveal that agents of Government of India are involved with this. In fact, the Canadian government has actually ordered a top Indian diplomat also to return to India. And this top Indian diplomat is actually one of the senior most officials of the mission in Canada, working on certain affairs. They claim that he's a raw officer and he's being sent back. And they want Government of India to cooperate with investigations. Incidentally, we are told that Justin Trudeau also raised this issue with Prime Minister Narendra Modi on the sidelines of the G20 when there was a pull aside. However, has information been shared with India in the form of evidence that the Canadian police have been able to gather so far is still not clear.
I do have an added question here, Gaurav, because we are being told that, as you're also talking about the diplomat, but first let's talk about what Trudeau is willing to do. He's willing to snap ties with the Indian government over Nijjar. And the fact is that the Khalistani activities don't really harm India at this point. It is eventually going to harm Canada, the manner in which Canadian soil is being used. Do you think it's political pressure? Do you think it is sort of because elections could be coming? It is about the coalition pressure on him. All of this it's just shocking how a Canadian Prime Minister is willing to take this stand against India.
You're absolutely right. It is coalition pressure. Khalistani activities are massive in Canada. Hardeep Singh Nijjar is not the only one. There are several Indian separatists and terrorists who actually live in Canada. But that's one part of the story. The second part is India has repeatedly cautioned Canada about the harm that these separatists pose to Canada, whether it's in the form of narco-terrorism or in the form of human trafficking. India shared evidence of involvement of these Khalistanis with the government of Canada, but Justin Trudeau is dependent on these elements. It is vote bank politics, and with elections approaching, he has taken this line. But the other aspect of this also remains. Do remember that Khalistani elements were involved in the bombing of Kanishk, Air India aircraft Kanishk, in which more than 300 people were killed, and the Canadian police, and the government. In fact, it was Justin Trudeau's father who was then the Premier of Canada, Marshal Trudeau, and they stand accused of repeated warnings, of ignoring repeated warnings that had been given by then Government of India to Canada about the activities of such Khalistani elements. It's been vote bank politics with Canada for decades, and the inaction against Khalistani elements. So since the Narendra Modi government has taken a hard line on Canada and Canada's support to terrorism, this is how, Justin Trudeau reacts in the run-up to elections in Canada.
It's absolutely shocking, the comment that has been made, and we thought that Canada is a friendly country, but this is the reaction, willing to snap ties, willing to say that India is behind the killing of Hardeep Singh Nijjar, but worse, willing to even snap trade ties with India over the killing of this Khalistan, pro-Khalistan leader.